Okay, so here's the rookie. The rookie has been playing basketball for a few more less years than the expert has, and the expert has had a lot more experience. The rookie has played about a year of basketball though. So right now, as you can tell when we play this video, he's not even having a walk up. So right now he walked into it. He's not having that step to help him with his force. He's just getting started. He's just going to try throwing from there. As you can tell, his feet are less than shoulder width apart, and he's standing still, so there's no walk up. Both feet are aligned with one another. The feet that are so close together, it's going to be hard for him to get as much balance because they are so close together rather than spread apart. But the ball is at the waist, and this way it's going to help him bring from the force down from his waist at least. I couldn't see any principles being used, however, because he didn't have that walk up and he's just standing still. He's not doing anything. So for the preliminary movements, he doesn't have a principle being used. So if we watch here, his knees do bend, however, but they don't quite go down to a 90. You can see this is as far as they go, and then he's already starting to bring that ball up. So both hands are on either side of the ball. He's really had good grip on the ball, and ball gets raised past the shoulders. So see, they go up. His elbows are starting to come out and kind of point out rather than stick with the ball and stick straight up. They're starting to like point out, and the ball's kind of be lifted. So his arms are not getting extended. His arms are kind of going in a 90 rather. For principles, the lower center of gravity again, he's getting the lower center of gravity with his knees bent. Even though he's not quite hitting a 90, he is still using that principle because he is closer to the ground and getting the gravity and better balance. However, because it would be better than just standing straight, he does still have a little bit of bend in those knees. So then he goes right to shooting it, and see how his arms go out and then his arms move vertically upwards, and both elbows are kept under the ball. Wrist flexion from both of his hands. He's not just using one like the expert did and putting his force up through one. He's actually using both and pushing. However, he's not getting any force coming up from his legs as much because he's not doing the jump. His body never lifts off the ground. So I'll show you even after it leaves. His arms are completely extended now in the air, straight up, but he's not getting as good force as the expert was because he never leaves the ground and isn't getting as good force coming through his legs. But for principles, he's using production of maximum force requires the use of all his joints because he's using all of them that he can. He was using his legs and arms, and he's using his trunk, torso. He is using all his joints here, even though it's a lot different than the expert was. He might not be, but he's not getting maximum force because his knees weren't bent. Okay, so then the ball is now take off, and he's still just standing there with his arms out. Both the trunk and leg are extended. The ball was released from both hands at the same time. So this way, so if you see here, see how both hands are touching it and then they release it, both hands at the same time. But he is getting wrist flexion from both hands to help spin the ball and direct the ball. So he is still able to direct the ball with both wrists. This is another way to do it. Some may find this harder though because of not using, because sometimes it's easier to get that one hand. So for principles here, the greater the applied impulse of the ball, the greater the velocity the ball will get. So he does have a pretty good impulse of the ball though when he is throwing it, and he is throwing it with a lot of his force through his arms rather than his legs. Movement usually occurs in the direction opposite of that of the applied force, that's what's happening with the ball right now as it's spinning in the opposite way. Angular motion is produced by the application of force acting the same distance from an axis. So again, the angular motion. And then the follow through. So as you can watch here, nothing. His arms just come back because there was no jump. His feet still remain on the ground, and his arms just come back, and his arms just go back parallel to his side. he stands still and he stays in the exact same spot and the muscles start to relax. Um, the angular movement of the ball is constant even when he is in the air. This applied for the expert, but since he was never in the air, it wouldn't apply for him as much. If he was in the air, though, I do believe that the angular movement of the ball would still be constant and able to spin, but he never actually was in the air because he decided to not take off from his legs, even though his legs would give him more force. So that's my rookie and my expert. Obviously, you can tell the expert had a lot more experience and was able to use his force from his legs and his arms, where the rookie was kind of just relying on his arms for the force and wasn't using his legs for the force of the ball.